What's going on, guys? JR Sports Media here, back for another SmackTalk podcast. I'm here with Jonathan Weathers, as well as Hartford men's basketball guard Malik Ellison. Malik, what's going on, my man?
I'm good, man. Just dealing with this whole pandemic, staying quarantined. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, my first question was going to be, how are you holding up? I know, obviously, you just graduated, graduate transfer. What are you doing right now to get your body in shape to play basketball in the next step of your career?
Really just working out every day, starting in the morning, running 2 miles, and then working out. My stepfather's been helping me out a lot with workouts and then lifting as well. I'm fortunate to have a little, weights and stuff around the house. So I've just been doing that and staying consistent with it every single day.
Yeah, I know this is an issue for the NBA players because a lot of them have gyms, a lot of them have hoops around them to hoop, but a lot of them don't have access to that. Do you have any access to any local, rims, any hoops? In New York City, they took down the nets. You can't even play. So
That's crazy. I actually have access, which is good. It's a blessing, you know what I mean? A lot of people don't, so I'm grateful to still be able to work out every single day.
Yeah, that's the good thing about basketball is you can always kind of find a hoop. This thing you can kind of be low-key. You can shoot by yourself and still get your practice shots up.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So I was going to ask you, brother. I know you started at Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
St. John's and Pittsburgh.
St. John's and Pittsburgh. But what made you go from a big school like Pittsburgh to a school like Hartford? I know not too many people know about it. They kind of asleep on it most of the time.
Mm-hmm. So I actually didn't know too much about Hartford, but the kid Tracy that was on my team, he actually committed there, and I seen it. So I congratulated him. I thought it was a great opportunity for him to really excel. And for me, I was really just looking for a situation that, I could excel as well. And I had a lot of, high major schools coming after me still. But I told myself, I was like, do I really just want to be another guy on the team, or do I want to go somewhere and really just, play to the best of my abilities and make a name for myself? So Tracy had called me, and, we kind of just clicked from there. And then I met Coach Gal. He came up for a home visit to my house. And then I knew that was the right place for me right away.
Hey.
Just thinking about your early career, Malik, obviously we're in a podcast together this year, but I didn't know about this. Obviously, I was doing some research today preparing for this interview. I didn't know that your dad was the number 1 overall pick. Speaking about, obviously, early life, you were obviously into basketball, obviously, as soon as you were born. How was it like being, a kid with your dad in the spotlight like that?
Oh, it's amazing. I was young when he was, playing, but still just being aware of it and having him, around. He's been to every level that I've been at. So, he's taught me everything I know about the game. He's trained me since I was a kid. He introduced me to the game. So I'm just, I'm thankful to have him in my life. And, it's just been an awesome experience.
Well, there's one second. Usually I would ask, who do you model your game against? Obviously, you probably model your game from your father, I would assume.
A little bit. He was more of a traditional big. So
tips and tricks from him, of course, occasionally.
Yeah, definitely. But, I model my game after a lot of dudes. I try to take something from each, player. Kobe Bryant, he's the inspiration, rest in peace to Kobe. But he was an inspiration for me, his killer mentality. And then, newer guys like Kawhi Leonard, I really see a lot of similarities in his game with mine. So.
Yep. Yeah, that pull-up jumper is stone cold, Malik, 100%. And just a follow-up question from that. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but one-on-one right now, you versus your dad, who's winning? Game 11.
It's not even close. It's me.
Oh, you killing him now?
He can't move with me, man.
So with that, I was going to ask, with your dad being such a touted athlete growing up, did you feel any pressure to kind of, be an athlete when you feel like you were in his shadow at all growing up, or did he kind of give you your own space to kind of develop how you wanted to?
I didn't feel any pressure from him, but I definitely felt pressure growing up. I always was, Purvis Ellison's son until I was like a sophomore in high school, really when I started creating a name for myself. So, it was definitely a lot of pressure, but the older I got, I kind of embraced it and just kind of took my own route, and, it's worked out for me now.
So obviously on the other podcast, we're talking about, the Hartford Hawks making a run for the first time in program history. When I was doing some research on your father, he actually won the national championship for Louisville as a freshman. If we got to that step, beating Vermont, those tips and tricks from your dad probably could have been worth a lot.
For sure, man. You never know. It's March Madness. Anything can happen, right?
I just want to say you got Rob Player of the Year, man.
I know.
I'm just gonna say it.
Oh man.
Statistically speaking, it doesn't make any sense. I'm just gonna leave it off like that.
That's what I'm saying. I was disappointed, but at the same time, it just added more full fuel to the fire. You know what I mean? I was motivated. That's why I came out that next game. Played how I did, and it all. We was one game away, but we felt like we was gonna win, and it was all motivation from the regular season awards. Like we ain't get nothing. We felt like a lot of players should have got some. So.
Now, Malik, when you guys were playing Stony Brook, I remember 2 days before you told me, "Get ready, we're gonna win this game, and we're gonna go on a run." A lot of people counted you guys out. You guys were very, very big underdog, and you guys came out there, smacked them in the tooth in the first half. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Hartford's gonna give up the lead." You come out second half, Malik's on fire. You can't stop shit. What's going on? Stony Brook gets knocked out. I know the moment was there, but Hartford fans, unfortunately, will never be able to find it out. What is something that you learned from this experience, obviously being so close to something but not being able to get there, something that you can't even control?
Right. I mean, like you said, you can only control what you can control, and just cherish every moment. You know what I mean? Cherish the journey. It was a long journey. I missed the first 10 games of the season. It was tough, but coming back, trying to get, acclimated with the team. We went through a lot of ups and downs during the season, but, in the end, we made it to where we wanted to go to, and it was cut short. But we all, we embraced the, the moment that we lived in, and, we had a successful year, and that's all we could ask for.
Hey, man, you missed 7 games and still finished the season with 10 double-doubles.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man.
Thank you.
Where do you get that kind of grit from? Because I know you're a guard, so not too many guards are down there pulling almost 10 rebounds a game. So
right.
What makes you kind of go for that?
I mean, it was kind of the transition from St. John's to Pitt. At St. John's, I was playing a lot of point guard, and, I wasn't grabbing as many rebounds as I should have been. But as soon as I got to Pittsburgh and I kind of transitioned into a 3-4, in that system, and it really just taught me to be tougher and really just go after every rebound. Like one of my coaches told me, like, you're the most athletic player on the court. You should be averaging 8 to 10 a game. So I kind of just took that mindset into Hartford, and I knew that if I controlled the glass, we had a great chance of winning.
Yeah, definitely.
Talking about controlling the glass, Malik, did you feel like Andre Drummond when he dropped 19 points on Albany? I know I gave you a little comment after class, but, 19 rebounds, not something traditionally a guard gets during the game.
Right. Nah, it was crazy. I couldn't even believe it, honestly. I just remember being in the game, and one of the guys on the bench that couldn't play this year, he's like, "Yo, you got 17 rebounds." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you got 17." He was like, "Try to get 20." So me, I'm just like, "All right, let me try it." I ended up with 19, and it was just crazy. It was a surreal feeling. I never was able to rebound like this, growing up. It was never an emphasis of mine, but for me to grab that many rebounds, man, it's phenomenal. So I took it upon myself to really embrace that, and I'm just extremely blessed to be able to do that.
Now, I know you said you didn't really know you even had that many rebounds at the time. Now rebounds kind of go a little bit more unnoticed, but when you got the hot hand, do you know that? Are you more aware of that? Like, oh, I'm almost at 30. Another 3.
Definitely. I mean, I always knew going into every game I had to be aggressive, and I always felt like I was the best player on the floor. So just going out there and just playing my game. And when I got hot, I knew it. My teammates knew it. My coach knew it. He always went to me. And, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And, I was able to do a lot of things this year with that.
So, Malik, obviously you come into the American East. You're the man in the arena. You come from St. John's. I'm from Queens, New York, so I actually did video production with St. John's. Filmed a couple of Marcus Howard games last year. Pretty crazy. Shamari Pons. Probably know a couple of those guys.
Yes,
what is the transition like? Obviously, being at St. John's, there's a lot of talented players, you being one of them. But you step to Hartford, you and Tracy, probably the most talented transfer we've had in program history. What is it like to be, a role player and then transition to be that man in the arena?
It's different. I mean, it's everything you want and you ask for when you go to college. But, some things don't work out how you want it to. And for me, especially, my last decision that I made, I wanted to be able to go somewhere and just, ball out, have the opportunity to really express myself on the floor. And I seen that in Hartford. So as soon as I got there, I mean, from day one, Coach Gallo made sure that he instilled that confidence in me again. And he was just like, look, this is your team. You're our go-to guy. Just go make plays, and, we'll live with the rest.
Yeah, speaking on Coach Gal, obviously he emphasizes the neighborhood a lot. Can you just emphasize what the neighborhood means? I know I see a lot on Twitter. I see a lot everywhere. But just what does it mean from a player that played for the Hartford Hawks?
I mean, the neighborhood is a inspirational saying for us. It all started from the beginning, and it was one of those things where a lot of people looked at us and said, they lost 6 guys, 6 of their main players from last year. They're going to be terrible. They're not going to win games. They'll probably finish, towards the bottom of the league. And it just really motivated us, and we came closer together as a team. We formed a brotherhood, and that brotherhood turned into the neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like a bunch of guys from all over the place, Australia, Russia, Serbia, Philly, New Jersey. So it was one of those things where we all came together and formed one neighborhood. And we really just used that before each and every day, really, practices, games, and it really just, allowed us to excel.
That's one thing I did always notice about your coach. He seems to always get a lot of foreign players, a lot of trust in that. Because I was looking at your roster, you got some guys from Serbia, like you said, Alaska, Australia, and
Yeah.
so is it a little bit of a culture shock for some of them to come into play, or what's it like? I know you guys said you guys built the neighborhood easily, but is it easy to build that, or was it a long growth for that?
I think it's definitely a process. You know what I mean? Some of those guys come here, they don't speak that well of English. But the one thing about everybody that was on our team was that they were all great dudes. They come from great families, and they're hardworking, and they're great students, outside of the court, in the classroom. So that was the biggest thing was, there was a lot of familiarity and, similarities within each person's personality. You know what I mean? So I think that part was easy for us to get along because we all came from, great backgrounds. And, the basketball part, the more you play with each other, the more chemistry you build.
Of course. The one great unifier, hooping.
Exactly. Yep.
I hear you.
So Malik, obviously you're staying up fit, you're staying at work. What if you could tell us, what is your next step? I mean, I always tell my friends, add him to a G League team and see what he could do and give him a chance. What's going on in Malik Ellison's head right now? What are you preparing for in the short-term future as this pandemic is unraveling?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, as you guys know, sports, the world that we know, is just on pause.
Quiet.
It's quiet right now. So, just staying prepared, honestly. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. But like he says, when opportunity meets preparation. So, for me, it's just staying ready. And once the moment comes, going out there and really just, taking advantage of it. So with that being said, I always had a dream of playing in the NBA. Always felt like I could play in the NBA. God gives, everybody has a different journey. And for me, it took 3 schools to get to where I want to get to. So with that being said, I really I look forward to the process, man. I had a lot of combines and a lot of workouts set up. I was supposed to be in LA working out with a lot of pros, future prospects. So
I'm talking about.
Yeah, so it was really good, man. But everything is on pause right now. So really just staying in shape, staying quarantined, and then as soon as everything opens up, I'm gonna pursue that dream.
Hey.
Well, I'll kick it off. One last question, Malik. A lot of people out there are probably wondering this. An athlete, in high school, working his way up, what is some advice you'd give some people out there that are working in the gym, persistent like you are, but, they don't see the overall picture because obviously it's a marathon, not a race. So what is some advice you would give them to stay on top of their game and be ready when the opportunity presents itself?
I mean, every day is important. You can't skip first steps to anything. Everything takes work. And as long as you get started with something, that's the most important thing. That's the hardest thing for everybody to do, is just to get started. Once you get started, it's up to you to create your own path. And for me, like I said before, it took 3 schools to get to where I want to get to. For some people, it might be one and done. Some people might be 4-year guys. So it's all different, but just embrace the grind each and every day. Stay positive. Continue to just work, man. It's, as long as you work hard, you'll be able to accomplish anything that you put your mind to. So just stay in the gym, stay positive, faithful, And every day counts. That's all I have to say.
100%. It's always about outworking the next man. Malik, I appreciate you coming on. Where can we find you on social media?
Instagram, at Leak0. And then that's pretty much it. I don't have a Twitter, so.
Well, we wish you nothing but the best, Malik. Obviously, I'm personally rooting for you. Everyone at Hartford is rooting for you, and we thank you for everything you did this year. Obviously, one of the most successful seasons. Didn't end how we hoped for, but, you know, you gave us the optimism that we wanted. So, thanks.
Thanks for
Hey, I respect the grind, brother. Much respect to that, and good luck with everything and all your future endeavors, my man.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Stage soon.
Yes, sir.
This has been another episode of the SmackTalk podcast. I am JR Sports Media, and that's just like that.